I have the pleasure of sitting here tonight, with Dr. Omi Osun Joni Jones to talk a bit about um, theatrical jazz aesthetic, to talk about how it pertains to this moment we're in now and what sort of offerings it might have for us as we try to ground ourselves in this moment of what feels like chaos, but yet full of possibility. So, Dr. Jones, first, it's a pleasure, of course, to sit across from you, not directly, but still feeling your energy and your smile, and wanting to have this space and give this space for other people to experience and learn from you. So, if you want to open up with any thoughts at all, what you're feeling right now in this moment.
Right now, I'm feeling very excited because this is, as you said, it is a time of possibility. You and I are sitting here doing this work together.
Yes.
We are doing this work together. That's happening. People are gathering literally all over the world to declare themselves even more fully. And that is a challenge and, so much possibility inside of that as well. So I'm feeling all of that, the challenge of this moment, the excitement of it. And in the work that I do in theatrical jazz, one of the basic principles is being present. So if I take that to heart right now, I'm sitting here having a conversation with you.
Right.
And I believe there will be people who will listen to this and take what they can from it. Those are major privileges for me to have this conversation and to think that anything that I might say or dance or paint could be useful to someone else. That's really very powerful. So I start there, being present right here, right now. And I think theatrical jazz can remind us of that we can ground ourselves, to use your language, in the people around us, in our sense of community and family, however we build those things. And this will be a time to cleave together. And I think, and this is going to be the hard part for me, open up even wider. It's like embrace and open up more. Be more vulnerable, not less. Be more generous, not less. And in practicing theatrical jazz, I think that's exactly what it calls for. You know, the way it is expressing in my body right now, it's like explosion. It's like I want to do, and I want to make. You know, it's like a friend of mine and a profound mentor passed away recently, Laurie Carlos.
Yes.
Laurie used to say so many things that I'm reflecting on now. She used to talk about, put on your good bra, right? So that's what I got to do. And that there's an urgency to that, and there's an excitement to it, and there's some fear inside of it. But put on the good bra, speak the truth, stand up. This is the time to speak what you know to be true. This is a time not to smile if a smile is not what you are truly feeling. And there's a kind of electricity in that for me. And so that's what's in my bones. So more than anything, I want to move. I literally want to move. I've been telling my friends, we need some house parties.
Oh my goodness.
We need some block parties. We need to sweat together. And we need to invite some people we wouldn't ordinarily to those parties. And dancing and make things with them. Yeah, so that's the energy that I'm feeling right now. Let's do. those conversations may mask those spaces that open up for us to do the doing. And I, as an academic and a scholarly writer, I know that very well. It can be a cover. It can reveal a lot, but it can also shield us from the deepest vulnerability that I think is our job right now. Part of what's frightening about that space, and this is the way it ought to be, I don't know what it will reveal. I don't know what will open up. I've been thinking a lot about race, of course, and how Black people, we, at different moments in history, had to reshape ourselves. And I say had to. Some of that was coercion. Some of it was a decision to assimilate. Some of it was maybe not knowing if there was any other way, so we're going to do this way. And in the United States, for many of us, that meant a certain way to talk, a certain way to dress. It meant getting degrees. It meant those things that were important to us on their own, but also were ways to demonstrate for the umpteenth time our humanity.
Yeah.
To say, I'm going to put away watermelon. I'm going to put away chicken. I'm going to make sure I've got subject-verb agreement. I'm going to do my hair. So all those decisions became bone decisions, and that's Daniel Alexander Jones's language. Some deep, profound transformations occurred. I became aware that I was doing a lot of smiling that I didn't really want to be doing in an attempt to make things all right for the people around me, the people who appear to fear me or want to erase me, annihilate me. And I am wondering in this moment, what are the white American ways of doing the bone work? What does that mean for white people? And I know I'm going out on a limb right now. I'm not white. It's presumptuous of me to suggest it, but we're in a time to just say the stuff. I think there are a lot of good white people who may not have done the bone work, who may not have allowed themselves to be frightened and to be shaken from their various mythologies. It's connected to art making. In our academic theaters and in our professional theaters, we often have these things called talkbacks, right? And when we have these talkbacks, it's an opportunity for the artists, designers, technicians who created to engage with the audience members directly. I think we only talk about race in those talkbacks if there's a person of color who has written the work or people of color who are in it. We'll talk about race if it's white artists who are primarily in charge. And I wonder what would happen if we did. In other words, for us to make whiteness more visible by talking about it, even in the absence of people of color. I recently made a presentation. I was on an exciting plenary panel at the Association for Theater and Higher Education. It was just in Chicago over the summer. And we were invited to think about whatever diversity might mean in connection with academic theater. And the things that I've just said now are the things that I suggested, that perhaps the dramaturg's role in this moment is to encourage white to go bone deep. You know, it'll be interesting when that comes out, and we'll see what folk have to say, because it's going to be in print. I wouldn't recommend that people go to any places that they're not ready to go. So for the folk, like you said, who said, no, you all can do that, I'm not doing that, that is just fine. For those who say, okay, let's give that a try, I think it means standing inside of what we know to be true about being human beings, which is another important principle of theatrical jazz. It's how do we do this together? Yes, there are going to be solos, and we need the virtuosity of every single person. And the soloist has to figure out when she or he or they are going to pull back, and then work in a different kind of way to support the entire community. And the entire community right now means the human community. It means the whole thing. So I think I'm really committed to seeing how we can make things together. Meals and quilts and songs. And a very important part of this collaboration requires the ability to improvise, to not know where the end is, to be inside of the mystery. We talk a lot about process versus product, and I believe in that. But sometimes even our process seems to be designed just to get us to a product. Because part of what I'm saying is, I don't know. I'm talking about being vulnerable and making things with people. I don't know what that's going to look like. One of the questions that I have about whatever we want to name the group, progressive folk or radical folk or people on the left, or, you know, whatever we want to call a certain kind of opposition to a certain kind of conservatism, whatever we want to call that, is that many of them seem to know what the destination is. I'm not sure that I know what the destination is, especially if we are willing to hear stories that we haven't heard before, that we haven't incorporated into our truth before. That the destination may be, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot about the fact that both June Jordan and Barbara Christian, they asked for leaves from their institutions when they knew they needed rest, and they were not granted those leaves. Think about that a lot. Community, you serve the community, you serve the community. And, you know, you wake up and you've got a heart condition, and you've got cancer, and you've got alopecia, and you got a host of things going on. But you were committed to serving the community, which is a laudable desire. But your own house, you weren't taking as good a care of. So I think Black feminist thought, my Black feminist thought, is we got to take care of ourselves. We really do, in some profound ways. So we get sleep. So we drink a lot of water. So we eat less sugar. So, you know, it's just a real thing, and it's all of it. It's all of it. That's part of our caretaking. And then we're bringing a different person to that moment when we invite somebody in. And we have have the wisdom to say, okay, I invited you in, but you are not abiding by the rules that this community has set up. So I am graciously asking you to not participate in this gathering. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, so it's not, when I talk about the openness and the inviting, it's not just haphazard, and it's not just anybody. It's not people who are going to harm us psychically or otherwise. And putting on that good bra means there are times we have to tell people, you have to sever relationships sometimes. So I think the clearest answer to your question is, there are a couple ways I can respond. Not everybody is going to make the choice to open and embrace, and that's fine. Those that do, it's vital that we do whatever we need to stay loving to ourselves, and it really does mean a massive transformation. It might mean eliminating some people in our worlds who, we thought were down with us. Might just be time to say, that really isn't working for me. And I'm suggesting these things. I think that there are multiple strategies. I'm suggesting a strategy. It seems to me your own work addresses this very clearly as you craft a pedagogy of what I'm going to call a pedagogy of action, of doing, of collaborating, of creating. In our classrooms, we can do almost anything we want to do. Now, students may resist, but for few of us, there's not a higher authority. The level of surveillance in our classrooms is relatively small, given what it could be. And I wonder what would happen if we did in our classrooms, if we enacted some of the theories in our classroom, so that if we consciously created these counter spaces where physically the setup did not replicate hierarchies, which, students sitting in a row and then the teacher has all that space to wander and walk, so that somehow the space doesn't replicate a hierarchy, that the assignments require group work. Is happening right now in my experience with theatrical jazz is the importance of telling stories and of listening. To be in an ensemble, one really has to listen. Listen to the stories from the other ensemble members, find the bits of those stories that resonate with your own, and then offer that up. So there's something I think really important about storytelling right now. Honoring people's realities. Let our imaginations go. They may go places we don't know. And that is scary.
It is.
I'm free.
It is. I mean, it's necessary.